Hello and welcome to what it feels like recently your bi-weekly episode of Indiepocalypse Radio. Your somewhere between a interview show and a post-con hangout, but I've been having much more of those convention area hangouts as I'm traveling out and about, coming from Portland off to Albany next week. And then I think I get like a 1 week break, 2 week break. Before then, I'm off to... I don't really get that much time. I think I get like a 2 week break. Then it's off to Minneapolis. But endless travel. I am your traveling host, Andrew, of course, the organizer, etc. of all that stuff that is Indiepocalypse. The monthly anthology of... what's it called? Video games, these things. It has alt video games in it. And... basically zine culture for video games, which I think is really why I was talking in the pre-show of like this thing's never going to hit wide, and because really like how often does Zine Fest stuff hit wide? It doesn't really, and that's basically what I'm trying to make. So I'm like succeeding, and it's going wider than one could hope even, or one would traditionally expect. But speaking of all that aside, all infinite the threat of infinite scope aside, we are here with a quartet of guests and a trio of segments here. Our first guest you may know in the context of this from, of course, issue 75 of Indiepocalypse with Avenging Angel Hikari Ekeldama. I was like, uh-oh, a bunch of letters all at once, and then I caught myself. It turns out they were easy to say. It's Colin Cultus. Hello, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Andrew. I'm doing great. Happy to be here.
Happy to have you here. So first, straight off the bat, the question that I gotta know, the standard Indiepocalypse intro question. Hey, how'd you find this thing?
I believe I contributed to an entry from 2 years ago from Squiggly Dot. I forget the exact issue number,
Yes.
but it was a Io Trogla. I did the music for that, and that's how I got introduced to it. And I think I was also on an earlier episode from a few years back.
I think probably you were together.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is like the one clause of, hey, no repeats, is that like, hey, people are always indie devs are always going to work together infinitely, you know.
Yeah.
So it is all about like, hey, who's in the front? Whose project is this? And speaking of that project, if people are unfamiliar with that game, how would you describe to them Avenging Angel Hikari Akeldama?
It's a visual novel, it's a kinetic visual novel about sort of magical girls retelling of Paradise Lost, essentially. It's about a group of child soldiers who fight demons, and it's kind of about a certain angel discovering that not everything is as it seems, and kind of just uncovering the kind of truth behind the war that's been going on for God knows how long.
Right. Yeah. It's also like it's a beefy one too. It's Wait, how? Now the important question is, do you, in the terms of visual novels and their infinite word length, does it exceed Paradise Lost? You know.
Now that I'm fairly certain, no.
No.
It's like it was like 100 pages, like 35,000 words, 3 hours.
You're about halfway there.
Yeah, about halfway. You know, it's close enough.
A quick Google search approximates it. Milton's Paradise Lost at about 60,000 words.
Oh, it actually is halfway there. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's the weird thing. You just like start writing and then you just keep on. I think like, the like stats around like visual novel length, get kind of like bandied around sometimes just because it's deceptive,
Yeah. It's like, did you know Umineko is 4 times the length of the Bible? Did you know this? Did you know that? It's like, people just love throwing numbers around because it's funny. But, like,
Right.
I don't know. Yeah.
But it's like a weird kind of like, because it's all broken up with visuals across separate screens, and it's not a thing you can hold in your hand.
Yeah. It's easy. It's easier to think about it in terms of like hours, like a game, because you don't really notice. Like, I've read quite a few visual novels, and I don't really think about them in terms of length. I just kind of think about like, oh, this was like 40 hours. This one was like 30. That one was like 3.
Right.
But like looking at numbers, it is like, wow, these guys never know when to put down the pen. Am I right?
Right. Right. That is, and it's like, and also inversely, we don't think of books in terms of like, hey, this is a 6-hour book. This is a
Yeah. The funny thing about the word length is that it's my first time ever really writing something on that scale.
right.
Just a bit of context is that originally development history was that it had started out as a entry for the Toxic Yuri visual novel jam from last year, which I know got a bit of publicity. It's a big cash prize. I think Vice wrote an article about it. I think it was either Vice or Wired. Somebody wrote an article about it. But point is, I saw it, like, heard about it online, and I was like, I had this old idea for like it was like kind of on the back burner in a notebook somewhere. I would doodle in like during college or something, of like a big action game kind of thing, like a Devil May Cry type character action thing. And I was like, this would be so cool. And then I realized that, I'm broke and I don't know how to 3D model,
Right.
and I don't know how to program, and I'm chopped and yada yada. So I put it on the back burner because I was like, this will never happen. But I thought the Toxic Yuri Jam would be a good way to retool the idea into like something. So I sat down. There was 6 weeks to do it. So I was like, I did not finish on time. Not at all. It ended in like July, I think, and I didn't publish Avenging Angel until January. So it was like 6 extra months on top of the original. And most of that was just writing the script, because I have done some like minor writing, and I did like I written like a backlog review or two in my free time. I wrote something back when, I think the last time I was here, old website. I don't think it even exists anymore. Bump Combat.
Yes. I think I looked recently to see if it still existed, and it did not.
That's a story for another time.
Right.
But,
That is, we're not here to litigate old websites.
Yeah, but like most experience I had was that time I wrote like a research article on the Postal series, and kind of a whole other thing, which I think was on. The point is, I've only ever really done this in like academic kind of settings, but I read, I write sometimes. Like, so I was like, I figured I could take a swing at it, and it was my first time writing any kind of fiction. But it's scary, with like games and such. You can get away with not knowing how to do that as much, I feel, because
Right.
you can always lift it up in other sections, gameplay, your presentation, all that kind of stuff. But in a medium that's a little stripped back, like as just a pure visual novel, it's the words are the focal points, the story. It's what's going to carry a lot of it. So it's a little scary, but I tried. I did my best. I wrote the entire script in like a month. It was an unprecedented rate of like 1.5 pages, like 100, like 1,000 something words a day.
Yeah, just like getting into the rhythm and just like going nonstop until I guess you do eventually stop.
Yeah. I reached an ending point, and I was like, "There's a week left. There's no way I'm finishing this."
Right. And plenty of times, like game jams aren't really about like finishing things, and like
Like when it happened, I was burnt out a little. I was pulling a lot of all-nighters. I was trying to get stuff done, but it's like I had like maybe 8 character sprites. I had like only half the soundtrack written. I was like, fuck. But then I was like, well, this is still it's progress. There's something here. It'd be a waste to turn back now. So that's why I kind of chipped away at it on and off. Because I had graduated college, I think, during development. So I was just like, I've got all this free time now while I look for a job. So might as well. It'll be something to do. Pass the time.
yeah. Yeah, like if you have, that infinite free time, you might as well use it.
Yeah.
uh but it is like, it's an interesting space because it's very like unofficial, especially just having like, seeing like, I am hopeful that people are like swooping back to like getting interested in these more like alternative spaces again. Like you said, like, a website covering a game jam, that exists on Itch, which is basically just a game jam. But I wonder. I'd have to find the context for it. I wonder if you're as trapped up in that whole like adult content thing, because I know it got kind of a lot of it got kind of scooped up in that.
Oh, it was a huge thing. I was in the Discord server throughout the development of the game, and that was a crazy kind of moment. Everyone was sort of riding the high of the release. It's over. Pop the party poppers, put in the confetti, release the balloons, and then like a few days later, the Itch situation happened, and everything was just like up in the air. It was crazy. Entries were being taken down. People were being. It was a whole mess. I admire the tenacity. There were people setting up, the torrents and like just doing whatever it could to keep everyone's stuff published and spread it and like around.
Yeah.
And I really admired that, in the face of, adversity. It's good that the community decided like was really dedicated to keeping the tape circulating.
Yeah. Really I have, if I ever have any problems with Itch, I have every single, issue of Indiepocalypse just hosted on my own website,
Yeah.
Just easily accessible there. And hosting costs are a thing, are not just like, oh, everyone just like get a website that, or more like get a website in which you can host a lot of large files on. It's not just, and also have those files uploaded and downloaded with some frequency. It's not the easiest ask, but you can put a couple on there,
Yeah. People were also doing that, I think, around the time the situation was happening. There were lots of people stepping up to offer like guides and stuff on setting up your own websites, hosting domains, getting where to put your stuff.
Right, because the problem itself is not even like an Itch problem, So it's not like that's like it was like an organizational. It was like a payment processor problem that would hit any kind of like larger organization that you would like then escape to,
Yeah.
I mean, most of it's just people see video games as toys for babies.
Yeah. And it's like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna go against friggin' MasterCard? They're like $1 gazillion. They own everything. What the hell are you gonna do about it?
Right, and you have to.
Right. Yeah, but it's like
the longer boring solution is that people need to take video games seriously.
Yeah.
Because way worse quote unquote content, or so to speak, exists in like other mediums all over the place, and it's fine because people take those seriously, and video games are for kids.
Yeah. It's for little goo babies.
Right, and video games do very little to fight against that notion, or the video game industry does very little to fight against that notion. It is kind of very in the wheelhouse of they're fun little toys for children.
Yeah.
Or adults with arrested development also can enjoy them.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna shame those adults.
Yeah, do whatever you want forever. Who am I to judge?
Right. Right. I'm not coming and dragging you away from Fortnite and telling you to enjoy art or whatever. I have other things to do in my life. But hey, what if you tried that every now and then? Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah. You can lead a horse to water. You can't make him drink.
Right. But that is like the So what got you into doing like, because you've got a kind of like collaborative streak a bit longer than your solo work. So what got you into
Yeah.
doing like solo work?
Originally, I had always wanted to do game development. Even like as a little toddler in my little pants, I had like ideas around. I played Sonic on the PS3 through the Ultimate Genesis Collection just to
Okay.
carve it myself real quick. And I really got into like the ideas. I had like little notebooks written down of like ideas and like characters and like places. But I did not know how to operate the computer that well, so they kind of just stuck around. So it wasn't. I had messed around with RPG Maker back in middle school, high school. I recently moved house, so I've lost some stuff. But I'm pretty sure I might still have a USB somewhere of like a bunch of half finished projects I had made. All kinds of. They never went anywhere, but I think it was around 2021. That was the time I kind of very. I guess it's the start, official start, because that's when I first worked on. There was a Yumi Nikki fan game jam on Itch. I forget if it's still going, but it was like Dream Diary Jam, and I did an entry for. I think it was five or six, one of those, and that was my very first published work ever. Separation Anxiety. It was about a girl whose parents are getting divorced, and she crawls into a big hole in her wall, and there's a dream world. It was a very basic, kind of bare bones premise, but it was mostly just a experiment to see, anime rival boys to test my abilities.
Right. Yeah. So
and
sometimes you just need to publish something.
Yes, it's also partially why I published Avenging Angel, but we're working our way there. But I did the game, and I published, and I did get it done on time. I managed to do it while I was also working for somebody else, because there were other people, volunteers, somebody who needed music for something they were working on. So I did some tracks for that while also working on my own game and its own soundtrack. So that was a bit of a hassle. I think I submitted all the tracks. I wrote my soundtrack in it's like 3 a.m. the day of, and I finished at like 9. And I kind of just hastily duct taped everything together. So it's not like a pretty product. I meant to come back to it, but it's been like 4 years, so I wouldn't hold your breath.
Right.
5 years. But around that time, that's when I started hanging out online a little more. So that's how I met I think through Backlog, very early days of the website, I met up with a couple people, which is how I met some of my other people I would end up working with. So that's around the time that I had other friends who were doing indie stuff, like Swiggly Knot. I had done some work for her. She was also doing, Twine microfiction. So, she'd be like, there's a thing that's due in a week. Do you want to write like a track or two? And I'd be like, yeah, sure. So I just kind of had like a streak of just volunteering for stuff. Just doing, usually it was mostly sound music. I think that makes up a majority of my indie development work, is just doing soundtrack work for people.
Yeah, because that's also like a crucial component to a lot of like indie dev work that that goes a long way. That you can't. It's a little harder to just kind of like do yourself sometimes.
Yeah,
because you can. I think it's easier, not easier, but for everyone. But someone can sometimes approach art and be like, well, I'm not an artist by trade, but in through making your own unique style, or you find like something that feels distinct to you. But then music is a beautiful diamond in the rough of someone like, oh, I can make music.
Oh yeah, it's difficult stuff. It's not like there are some indie games that have made stock music work. I think Yeo, I believe is his name. I forget his name, but the guy who made Friends of Ringo Ishikawa and Fading Afternoon, and there was something like he did a lot of like these kind of like game maker kind of action Kunio-kun type stuff. A lot of his stuff is stock music, and that he has a great ear for picking that stuff out. And I know Beat the Rain, Hello Charlotte series also use stock music, but yeah, a good soundtrack that is something that really makes your game stand out. But unfortunately, it's just not an easy thing to come by,
right?
Because you can fudge around with like art and stuff like that, or even your writing, because even those can have like these minor little quirks that even if you aren't perfect, people will find endearing and such.
Yes, I feel like of all the art forms, music is maybe the least endearing when it's bad.
Yeah, if
or
no one wants
clunky, I
to
should
hear,
say.
yeah, very rarely, like people, like even the stuff, even the sort of outsider music that people find endearing, or like the shags or
Yeah,
kinds of things, it's still more of like a point and laugh kind of thing for most people. Than
right.
like,
And like
and I
really,
doubt,
some of that stuff is like very listenable though. At the same time,
yeah, no one wants to hear Baby's first garage band attempt over
yes,
like something.
right. Because
It's
it's like because a lot of the outsider stuff still has like, or at least the ones that people often or are often drawn to have like some technical skill to it, even if like the
yeah.
artistry or like the execution is weird.
Yes, actually, the guy who got me into making music was Austin Jorgensen, the least of the painful guy,
Okay.
because his thing of like I forget, maybe he said it in an interview, might be a wives' tale, but like that he did the soundtrack to Lisa in like a trial of Fruit Loop Studios, which I do believe because I use that's the thing, that's what I use to make
Yeah.
my music. And I remember just going through the sample packs from like the default stuff they provide you and just pointing out every single like synth loop and instrument, and I'm like, I know exactly where we got that from now.
Yes. Yeah, and
But like,
like it's like you mentioned earlier, like for like part of like finding music when people do find it is like knowing how to curate it, and also like I guess like also being able to find the cool stuff that people haven't heard like 7 times already.
yeah, but yeah, that's kind of how it like, so like, music's kind of a hard thing, so I got tried, you know, was it profitable? No.
Sure. So I mean, hey,
That's everything. That's all. That's everything.
is this thing that I'm doing right now profitable? No.
But you do it anyways. I did
Right.
it. I was having fun, and it was a good way to get my name out there. Which I mean, it did work. I had another friend that I kind of knew. That was, I guess, my first commercial break. My good friend Pete, PD underscore ZCGT.
Yes.
I just call him Vis, but like, they had their game Somnibuster. I believe they were also on here at
Yes.
some.
Yes. Another friend. It's not Somnibuster. An earlier game.
Cycle Chaser, I think.
Yes. Yeah. Cycle
Yes.
Chaser was another. If it's at this point, if you've touched, you know, every indie dev has traveled through this at some point. It's just like natural checkpoint. It feels like at this point.
But yeah, they were working on like a platformer game, and I was like, the thing is, up until this point, a lot of the projects I had been working on had been like horror adjacent or kind of mature. So I was doing, a lot of dark ambient and this really kind of like haunting synth stuff. But I was like, you know what I want to do? I want to make like a platformer soundtrack. I want to write something for like a little Scrimblow Bimblow, little side-scrolling adventure. And they were like, well, it just so happens that I am working on a funny little mascot game. Would you like to do something for it? And I was like, say less. So I guest featured. I wrote 2 songs, and that was my first commercial release, I suppose, or at least my first commercial project with my name attached to it, which was kind of big. It was huge, even if it's didn't exactly set the world on fire. It was nice.
But like
I can go to a Steam page and point to it, like the description, and be like, "There I am, Gary. There I am."
Right. And it's the. I think that's just the problem with the internet, where we expect everyone expects all of our work to set the entire world on fire, when it's just like that does not reflect the history of art.
Yeah, people played it. People liked it. Reviews pointed out the music, and they would always single out like the tracks I contributed, which was nice. It was a bit of a lull, but like around that time, I had just been like working as like freelance musician for a thing or two here, and it was around the time, to loop this back to the topic at hand. Avenging Angel was the first time I had realized. I was like, it's been 4 years, technically 5 by the time it got released, but it's been like 4 or 5 years since I've actually done something for myself.
Yeah.
I was like, I need to see if everything still works. Essentially, diagnostic. See if I can put something out there. And I did.
Yeah, no, and then I can also double verification. It does in fact work. The bits work at all. Still kind of like gels together, Yeah, and then but primarily you would say you do like. Now, does that give you the taste for like, oh, I want to do more solo dev work, or is that just like you shook the rust off and then you will get back to that again when you feel like it?
Yeah. So yeah, I was just kind of but I am working on another project. Things have slowed down. Progress has slowed down a bit. Shortly after the release, I moved home. Had to get a lot of stuff together. I spent a while kind of just getting my life in order.
Yeah.
Now I'm full-time employed, so it's hard. I come home, it's like 7. I gotta be back to work, back in bed by 10. So it's hard, but I'm trying to chip away at it.
Yeah, especially like those like midday shifts, are really awkward for like doing solo work.
Yeah,
because it's like you don't want to you don't have enough time to wake up early enough to like. I feel like I've done that before, where it's like hard to do something because you're not up early enough, but then like by the time you get home, it feels so late.
It's oh my god, but I'm chipping away at it when I can.
Yeah.
I don't want to make any promises because Lord knows whenever this will actually come into anything presentable.
Right.
But I am working on a new project at this moment. And I think the second Toxic Yuri Jam has been underway. It started recently.
I think so.
Now, yeah. I think I'm working on another project for that at the time, so stay tuned. We'll see.
Yeah. And that said, so there's a couple questions here. I assuredly asked you them before, but let me tell you about my memory of this show. Like any good person who hosts a radio show, podcast, anything, that records hours and hours and hours and hours. The second it ends, all that information leaves my brain, or some of it does. Often these two questions leave my brain, so I hope you're prepared for these two questions.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite type of rock?
Ooh.
And it could have changed.
Let me see. I think I'm quite fond of quartz. It's very simple, kind of just white, just kind of clear.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a pleasing shape. I really think it's neat. I've been to one of those like big ass caverns where like you can see like the crystal formations, and those are really neat. It's very beautiful. But you kind of can't beat your regular kind of rock you find near like a river or something.
Yes, like the
good form, good heft. Makes a nice sound when you throw it at people.
The beautiful conceptual rock.
Yep.
I'm trying to. And second question. Hey, do you have a favorite Toho character?
I do, actually.
Yes.
I believe Seija Kijin from Toho. I think it's it's a 14 or 15. Double dealing character.
Yeah, I mean, you're out here breaking out numbers. You're an expert,
I think most of my feed, when I'm not like, whenever I bother to post, is usually like a Toho character or two. This is my domain. I'm familiar with it.
Yeah. Well, perfect. Concultos, thank you for joining me here today.
Anytime. Thank you.
We're going to take a break, and we'll be back in approximately, how long is this going to take? Like 2 minutes and 42 seconds, give or take. Bye right. For now.
All right. Thanks for having me on. You take care.
Hello and welcome back to Indiepocalypse Radio. That was Bomb the Music Industry with It Shits. We are here with a pair of guests, here collective representing Town Square, Adrencon, and Future Ruins. Hey, how you both doing today?
Hello. I'm doing great.
Perfect.
I'm also doing great. It is 3 a.m. over here. Yeah, I've got coffee. I'm great.
Love it.
It is a nice, cool 2 in the afternoon for me. I'm just relaxing, just hanging out. I'm still.
And it's 8:30 for me.
I still might take a nap. You never know. After this.
Very international call.
Yes.
Yeah. All time zones.
Yeah. This. I think like I organized like one once, and like in order for it to work, there is like a 1 hour time zone that like works for like if you hit like, you know, East Asia, Europe, West US, East US, and then also and also nobody is up at 3 a.m. and there's like 1 hour that works for that.
Yeah.
and it doesn't work perfectly. Like some people are up at 10 o'clock at night, some people are up at 7 in the morning, and then one person, the European people get, I think, just a cruise right in the middle of the day. But we are not doing that today.
Nah.
I make no special concessions here for Indiepocalypse Radio. This is my day off.
Oh God.
I'm like, hey, if you want to join me, I'm going to be here at 2 p.m. Sometimes 7 p.m. Usually 2 p.m. my time. If you're going to show up, hey, you got to figure out what that time works for you. But speaking of time and all that stuff, if people are unfamiliar with Townsquare, how would you describe what it is to these people?
Lincoln, do you want to try?
Okay, so Townsquare is basically so we have a Mastodon instance called gamedev.lgbt, and as like an idea of like how can we raise money to like fund basically the server, like to hosting costs and the domain. And my idea was like, oh, you know, what if we make like a zine with all of our members, like a member directory, basically, because like, just to like explain who all of us are and that kind of thing. And then the Queer Games bundle, I think that was in like January or February. They announced like, oh, we're not going to do it anymore. And so the people on our server were like, oh, what if, you know, we had a bundle?
Yes.
What if we made our own like Queer Games bundle that's like has like all of our like members contributing games and also the zine? And then it kind of like it became like a really big project for the server. Yeah. Like there was a lot of scope creep, basically.
Well, we made it. That's what's important. We made it.
Yeah. But we so yeah. It all came together.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you have anything to say about that?
Oh my God. Yeah, I think Townsquare for me, aside from like everything you've said, it's just like organizing community in like a very short span of time. Like, did we start in like April? Was it March? April? I don't know. It was just like quickly after the games bundle, queer games bundle announcement, we're like, okay, we need to do this. And so like it's just like a show of collective effort of like rallying people from inside gamedev.lgbt and like some other communities like La Madriguera, which is like a Spanish-speaking server for queer devs, and like some people from GDG.
Yeah, a lot of the names I recognize. It seems like I'm like, wait a minute, this is
all the Spanish queers are here.
Yeah, all the Spanish queers are represented within the bundle.
Yes, and also I think like Townsquare is also an opportunity to like do shitpost based marketing, and like a lot of it in Spanish, which is like something we haven't seen a lot. And it's just like it's being very fringe just to be like, yeah, I'm just gonna do a meme in Spanish today and see if that helps with sales, and it does. So like it's working.
Right,
it does.
Innovation.
I've learned so much about Spanish memeing.
Yes.
Yeah, because a culture, of course, very, especially humor, of course, extremely regional. So like memeing especially will be extremely regional, which actually ties perfectly into a question, which is from Princess here. Out of all the memes they've used for your socials, what's your favorite one?
Oh God.
Okay, I don't know the name, but the one with the car like exploding. Because I don't know, like, so I didn't know anything about this meme at all, but like Princess showed me this like picture of like a car exploding, and they're like, oh, is this too extreme? And at first I was like, oh my God, yes, that's too extreme. Like we can't use that. I don't know what that is because and then Princess is like, what? Oh my God, it's funny. And I'm like, I don't understand. But then it was explained to me, and then I was like, oh, okay, I get it now.
For context, this is it's very funny that I say for context because like even though I live in Spain, I'm not Spanish, so I don't know the history behind it. I just know like this. It's like a very old picture of like it's like a car exploding, but what's important is that the car is like several feet up in the air. And it's like that. It was like a terrorist attack on like a fascist guy. His name was Carrero Blanco, and like people from the Spanish left celebrated as like they knew on it because like it finally like one of the tyrants of Spain was like finished, and also we say that it's like the Spanish space program. So that's kind of the meme.
He's the first Spanish astronaut or something.
Yes. And it's just like very normalized in Spain, and it kind of like it was a success in the Spanish memeing community, I would say, to use that. I mean, we used it twice as well, which is like also like an accomplishment, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, there. Yes, I'm looking it up. That car is a lot higher in the sky than I was expecting.
Yes, it was. Yeah, we were not exaggerating.
Yeah, I didn't know the context of this. I was just like, oh my god, like what's going on in this picture?
So random.
Yeah. And then actually, like Princess's partner, also who like he's also not from Spain, and so he also was like, "Oh my god, you can't use that." And I'm like, Princess was like, "No, it's fine, it's funny, people will get it."
Yes,
and they did.
Yeah, every
It's like
every country eventually just like be like, oh no, eventually we just get used to our horrors and our traumas, and it just becomes
it's like, oh yeah, the Carrero Blanco. We've all Spanish, so yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would say for me,
Yeah.
the favorite one, just like quite quickly, is like the video of like this guy saying Viernes, which is like Friday, and just like winking at the camera, because that was my first time editing a video. And I did it in like a morning, and it worked. And it's just like that guy's just very funny. He just like posts videos like that, just like singing really well and just like doing the strangest fucking shit I've ever seen. So yeah, I would say that's my favorite one.
I didn't know that. I just saw the video went up, and I was like, "Oh, this is like a very nice guy. He's a very nice fellow."
He is. He's also very funny and very.
See, I'm learning about Spanish memes.
Yes, we all are.
Yeah, you gotta slowly, you know. And, you know, it's also regional. Like, you know, Spain's a big place, you know. It's not all...
Yeah, for sure.
As I was talking to
I
someone...
saw like...
might have even been you, about how, like, you know, getting to... Depending on where you're coming from in Spain, you know. I think I was talking about, like, going to a maze from Spain.
Mm-hmm.
And I think...
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh yeah, if you're like in like Barcelona or like a Madrid, like in a major city, it's easier to get just like on a train to Berlin. But,
Yeah.
like I think it was like coming from Malaga.
Oh, Malaga. Yeah, Malaga's like on the other side of the country, like southern, so
It's
like a trek.
yes, it is like it's like not as far south as you can. It's not quite at this. It's not quite Gibraltar, you know, but it's like
Oh yeah, I mean, could be worse.
it is pretty close to it. And also, you know, we tend to underestimate how big Europe is, I think, sometimes.
Yeah,
Just because
yeah, I think it's like smaller than America in some sense, because like you all talk about like driving through a state in 10 hours, which is like insane. Like you
Right.
cross from one corner to the middle of Spain in like 6 hours,
Yeah.
and it's like so it's a tricky balance. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's all the difference because, like, where I'm in the Northeast, you know, I can go to a bunch of different states. Like, I'm going to New York, and it's going to be like a 3-hour drive.
Okay.
And that's like going far in New York. Where's Albany? Albany's pretty deep in there, I think. Oh, Albany's not that far in. Albany's kind of like right over the border, actually.
I thought. Wait, is Albany like from the U.S. or Canada?
Albany is in the U.S. Maybe you're thinking of Alberta.
Oh my god. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm so sorry, Americans. I don't know you as
I don't think you need to apologize to Americans. I think it's fine.
apology retracted. Then.
Alberta is one of the Western Canadian provinces. That's the one that has Calgary in it.
Okay. Yeah.
Albany's the city in New York State. It's where it's.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
Not the New York City that you know. That's called New York City.
Yeah. That's like it's the state and then the city, right?
This is a New York City.
Okay. Oh God. Okay.
A city in New York.
Okay. Amazing. Thank you so much. I'm learning so much today.
Capital N.
Cultural exchange.
Yes.
Cultural exchange.
Yes. Capital N. Capital Y. Lowercase c. Yeah, no, because it was like my trip to Berlin was like 6 to 8 hours, I think. I think it was like longer coming back than it was going there. But then my trip to Portland was like also like 6 hours.
Jesus Christ, that's insane.
That's
What the hell?
That's in the same country.
Yes.
Not even across an ocean.
No, that's insane. Oh my God.
I'm looking at like PAX Australia, considering it, and that's like very far.
How many hours?
I think that's like. Let me see. Let me see. Let me do Boston to Melbourne. Now we're just talking geography here, but video games. Those things.
I
are
love
cool.
it.
Those things are cool too sometimes, I guess. But. I mean, part of the show is really like promotion, I say, but it's mostly like getting people talking and getting people thinking about like smaller scale, the ending of the Queer Games bundle. It was more like an inevitability than a surprise,
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, because how long can these massive volunteer projects sustain themselves? Without like being able to pay anyone, because really, folks don't do the math on those projects.
Don't no.
Do not.
Do not.
Look back at Queer Games Bundle 2025 and get really excited, and then do not do the math. Because you're like, yeah, so much money. Then you're like, oh, that's like $200 a person.
Yeah, for sure. And like, even our bundle, which is like quite at a lower scale, because we have like 40 participants, maybe. I don't remember the number. I'm so sorry.
We have 28 participants with like 39 items. Like
okay, so I switched the numbers. And like it was a hurdle to organize, and like this is maybe my third bundle, because like I've also helped organize 2 Game Dev Galaxy bundles, like celebrating the anniversary of the server.
Way back in the day.
Yeah, way back in the day, and that's because it's like very stressful. Not just like getting everyone to submit on time, and like if you do any extras like art, or like in the case of the scene, which like Rincon absolutely killed it, just like absolutely. Carry the entire. I mean, I just did some drawings, but yeah, it's. I can understand why people like burn out and say like, okay, this is enough, and that's fine, honestly.
Yeah,
we need to rest.
Your mistake. See, the mistake of all that you're all doing is doing them once a year instead of once a month. If you do them once a month, you get like hardened and deadened to any kind of work, and you just be like, oh, this is just part of my life. It's in the same way that I brush my teeth. I have to fucking contact these people and be like, "Hey, give me your shit," and and then you start doing more work. I've been doing like way more work on the project.
Yeah, I noticed that like every time I load up the Indiepocalypse like website, there's like a new section that's like, oh, now we have like tapes. Now we have like.
How do you do it, dude? Like, is this like your full time work now?
No.
Like, how?
I have a regular day job.
Damn.
This thing does not pay me any money at all. The pledge drive is coming up September, and like it's the goal is to break even.
Goddamn. Godspeed.
6.5 years. Still haven't made it yet.
Jesus.
Godspeed.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service, and thank you, by the way, for like inspiring us to make our own zine. So actually,
literally, dude. Yeah, you're sort of the blueprint.
That is That is the, if I was a more arrogant person, is the thing I would take a lot more credit for. Of
No, it totally is, because okay, so there's like a direct line from Indiepocalypse when I did the Indie Tsushin version of
Yes.
Indiepocalypse.
yeah,
There was a direct line from that to doing indietsushin.net, and then doing like this gamedev.lgbt. Like originally it was going to be just the zine, but then it expanded into the
It's
bundle as
titled,
well.
yes.
Yeah,
Right,
and so
'cause-
it became
it's
it became like
right, the same way
in
you
the image
accidentally
of
start
Indiepocalypse.
having tapes and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
You just like become comfortable, like, oh, what if I just did something else? This was fun. What if I continue to do things? But I think like more people working at smaller scales is more sustainable. You know?
100%, yes.
Like a greater quantity of people working on like, because also it creates like scale long term, because this is Town Square is a project of gamedev.lgbt, which will be around after the bundle ends,
Yes.
yeah.
which is the hard part. I think that a lot of people like that, like a lot of these things, they're like, the reason they aren't like, there's the unsustainability of like all these projects. As someone who constantly like, hey, look at this project, and then they don't last, and I'm like,
Mhm.
I am the Grim Reaper meme knocking on all the doors of all these other bundles and anthologies
Oh my
and
God.
zines. Except I'm just asking to invite them into my radio show so I can talk about it. And then I look behind me, I'm like, why are they all dead? What happened to those
Oh
things?
god.
Why didn't they do like two? I mean, Game Poem, Shout the Games Poem is doing a second issue, which is like
True,
already
yes.
a giant hurdle of like
Yeah.
that most things do not make it to like a second. Just because, I mean, part of it is kind of like what we talked about in this first segment of like, it's hard when you don't blow up big. You imagine like big success when like it's all just super small scale success,
Mm.
and all just like this slow building block of connecting with people and
Mhm.
building out these, it's how when I look at the Towns Queer thing, I like, oh, I know like half of these people.
Yes.
It's like, oh, look at that. Is that just a list of past contributors?
Yes, pretty much. Yeah, it's just like a mycelium that just like
Yeah.
goes back into itself. It's like
Yeah.
I think like the ultimate goal for Town Square as well is just like, that's why the name is called Town Square. It's just like just a town square where we all can meet, and also just like dragging people off of like big platforms. Like you were talking about it before. Just like Blue Sky is fine. Like
No.
RP Twitter was fine. It's
You're-
like we
you're-
need to
you're-
do more self-managed stuff.
You're allowed to say that Blue Sky also sucks, because it does.
Yeah. It's just like, God, yes.
Yes. 'Cause
We
it's
need tinier websites and just like manage our own shit more to be like more independent. And this was sort of like the hidden goal of the bundle, I would say, for me at least.
Mhm.
right.
Yeah, so it also doubled as like a recruitment for like, if you want to be in the
Yes.
bundle, you gotta be on gamedev.lgbt, so you have to make an account on our server.
Yeah, that's it. The
Yeah.
only requirement.
Right.
Yeah, like we had no other requirement.
And then it's all a collection, and then it's similar process of like, hey, you can be in this thing, but I'm going to like, and also that's why I'm like constantly like reaching out to people individually as well, to be like, hey, what if you were in this thing, of like, because game dev, it's got people have got a 5-second memory for freeware projects, even if they were freeware
Yes.
projects that blew up,
Mm-mm-mm.
because the latest giant bit of commercials that are airing, and people will be like, oh, I have to check out this thing because a bunch of people paid a lot of money to make commercials that I'm going to watch now, because
Yes.
I don't think about how I consume art. I just pay attention to what the latest commercials are, because video games is a medium for babies. And
Yeah.
this-
That reminds me, I
Yeah.
was like recently like a tiny, well, it's not even like a festival. It was just like a film club in which they were showing certain shorts, and what piqued my interest was that most of the shorts were either like stuff that was aired in other festivals, just like really really old stuff. And like when it comes to games, we don't have that. We just like it's either new stuff or like you're forgotten. And like that's why I like Indiepocalypse. That's why I like what we did with Town Square. That's why I like Indie Sushin as well. It's just like we are allowed to talk about our past projects if we're part of it, and like we think that our projects still deserve a spotlight, even if they're not like super fresh and super new. So
Right.
like I think we need to like I think we talked about this last time I was on the show, which is we we just need to talk about our shit, or we need to like break free from like the industry trends and just like look at scenes, look at like film festivals, look at other types of art to
Yes.
like bring back to our own game.
Yeah,
I
like
think.
that is like a big part of me actively inviting people is to like
Yeah.
be like, oh, hey, here are people who maybe don't even make a lot of games all the time, you know. They make games like on occasion. Like the two latest people that were invited to Indiepocalypse 77, you know, the artists from other mediums who on their itch pages each have one game, you know.
Love it. I love that.
It's, you know, it's the duo of Walk in the Sun and Monuments to Guilt, which are both like I think of as like old standbys, you know, of like you know, freeware hits that people like still that people are still paying attention to, you know.
Nice.
There's a playthrough of Walk in the Sun from 4 days ago.
Whoa, nice.
Posted in their comments, you know. You know, people, and so like people are still like connecting to it, and I feel like that culture is like slowly building.
Yeah.
That kind of, because like really that kind of like snobbish film culture also is not mainstream. Mainstream is all, you know, Mandy and Gugu or whatever.
Marvel. Yeah.
it's all still like Baby Yoda, but
Oh god, yeah.
or
Jesus.
or whatever, or like horror flavor of the month.
Yeah, Glub Shadow.
Yes, it's all Glub Shido all the way down. But so it's not like other things are like, but there exists a culture if you want to escape Glub Shido,
Yes.
where like if you there is you can, in video games you can't escape Glub Shido. Because all the biggest voices, game developers and critics also love Glub Shido a bunch.
They fucking love Glub Shadow. Yeah.
And it's like I think about I bring this up about once a show, but man, that GQ list is. Do you know the GQ games list? It's dire.
No, what's that?
So
What is-
are you
what is
familiar
it?
with the Sight and Sound poll?
No.
No.
So like once a decade, Sight and Sound has like a poll of film. They poll like, you know, directors, you know, film critics, etc., and be like, give us your best films, and then they make an aggregate list. And GQ did one recently, directly inspired by aforementioned thing. This is I should have a board up that says days, you know, episodes since Andrew has talked about the GQ poll, the GQ list, but the answer is always going to be
Zero.
It's always going to be 0. So I don't even bother. Because I think it's an important thing to think about. I think it is like a lodestone of like game dev criticism that is like something that should be thought about and like looked at, and like it's a bad list basically. It's a really embarrassing list for a medium. You know, because the you know, you can call it pretentious horseshit, but the Sight and Sound poll that is, but there's not even like the GQ list, to put it in perspective. The movie equivalent would be like if it was 100 movies all from the last 10 years, and then also like Star Wars or something.
Oh my god.
And that's basically what the GQ top 10 list is. And people going like, if people said those were the best movies, and like not people, like critics and like apparently the industry luminary developers that were all like, oh, all the best movies are movies that came out 10 years ago. And then
Jesus Christ.
and then also maybe like, yeah, like I said, maybe like Star Wars, and maybe, I don't know, Indiana Jones, and maybe down at 98, someone goes, "Oh, Citizen Kane, I guess, is a good movie." Like whatever people think is a good movie, but really, it's like, I mean, Fortnite's on the list, which is
No way. You're
Yeah.
fucking shitting me.
which is like, we've let people enjoy things for too long.
Yeah.
No,
It is time to bring back shame.
yes,
Yeah.
when that angel comes down and gives me the little paper that says let people enjoy things, I rip it in half. I say no.
No.
If you
Enough enjoying. We need to ban video.
Yes, you should be embarrassed to like Fortnite.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Like I grew up when I grew up in high school, I had a friend who was like a big fan of Transformers, and when those Michael Bay Transformers movies came out, he's like, "Yeah, they kind of suck, but I like Transformers or whatever."
Yeah.
Like-
Just
like-
be honest with yourself. Yeah.
There was like that sense of like cultural shame of like, yeah, I kind of like shitty stuff.
Yeah.
But like I feel like we've lost that kind of like, no, it's people pushing back of actually. Anyway, this is a much larger conversation. I have a question for the both of you. Before we get to the two questions, I have, where's my thing? There it is. I have another question for you, which is, hey, what's your favorite Wii Cross character?
Oh God. Wait, I don't know any. Oh no, I'm so.
My
Wait.
favorite,
Uh-huh.
because I apparently have one, is Guzko, who is a total mess. She is just the absolute disaster queen, and I love her. And she is me, and I am her. Guzko.
We love that.
Yeah, she's a mess. I love her.
Oh my God, I'm looking at like the characters, and there's one that's like white hair and has like a bandana or something. Do you know their name?
I don't actually know any of the characters. All of
Oh
my
my God.
research information comes from Princess. I was fed
I'm so
this
sorry,
answer.
Princess. I have failed you. I don't have any.
I actually also don't know that much about Guzko except that she's a mess. Everything I know about her, I learned from Princess.
Oh my God, I need to study up. Yeah.
Yeah, shout outs to Princess.
Shout out to Princess Internet Cafe. Yeah.
Princess Internet Cafe. Who is the one who made the exploding car meme, by the way, and taught me about Spanish memes.
Yes. Yes. We owe them so much.
And now the two questions. The two questions you prepared
Okay, let's
for.
go.
Mm-mm.
And if I remember correct, we've got the originator of the question here.
Yes.
Here to
It's
answer.
me.
Hey, what's your favorite type of rock?
Okay. So I remember last time I said it was Labrador, like a green, blue, yellow, shiny rock. I still like it, but Moonstone is also pretty nice. It's like white and iridescent. It like shimmers in like a bluish hue. It's like super pretty. So Moonstone for me.
See, you had the opportunity
Mine.
to.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, so mine, which I looked up just before answering, is Ahoy Hoy, which is a kind of lava. I guess it's not a lava rock. It's just a kind of lava flow. But I'm going to
Ooh.
use this anyway. Pahoy Hoy.
Ahoy,
it's
hoy,
like-
nice.
Yeah, so basically there's two types of lava. There's which is like really pokey and sharp, and hence the name, which is like it's like really, if you walk on it, it's terrible. And there's
Uh-huh.
Pahoy Hoy, which is like ropey and like it looks really smooth because it's coming out
Yeah.
like very, very slowly. It comes out like liquid, and so I really like Pahoy Hoy as someone from Hawaii, and yeah, just I like lava rocks.
Love it. Yeah, it's really nice.
I guess technically that's not a rock, but yeah.
I am very loose with my definition of rocks here. I'm not very particular. I like, if you think it's a rock, hey, who am I gonna fight you? I mean, it's all shit we made up anyway, you know.
Like I'm in the presence of the master of ruins, who is the rock expert, so I have to make sure.
No, I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
Yeah, okay.
I also
thank
allow
you.
it because rocks aren't real, you know. It's all just
It's all in your heads.
it's all
yeah.
it's all just made up, you know. And you never forget that it's all just made up. Everything we're so worried about is all just made up. I was gonna say you had the perfect opportunity to pivot and be like, because the rock question gets entered one of two ways. either the mineral or sometimes people will go like the musical genre.
Yeah.
Oh.
And you had the opportunity as the originator to set a new precedent. But and it is interesting because it is like a precedent. Like however the first person asks, everyone else tends to answer the same. Or however the first person answers, everyone else tends to answer the same way.
Yeah, so true. Yeah.
That said, you may not know a lot about Wheatcross, but what do you know about Toho? And do you have favorite Toho characters?
Oh God. I think for me, I've only played Phantasmagoria. And the boss that like sticks out to me the most is Eiki Shiki. She like throws coins at you, and I just love her for it.
Mm-mm-mm. For me, there's this game, Sanae Sylphid something. I forgot the full name, but it's like a Kirby game, and it's a fan like spin-off. I also know nothing about Toho, but I really love this game. Sanae's Sylphid. Oh, let me look it up. It's gonna bug me. Sanae's Sylphid Breeze. It is a fan game, and Sanae is like a Toho character, and I know nothing about Toho, but the game plays like Kirby. So it's like, what if Toho was Kirby? Which is really fun. It's really good.
Hell yeah.
That is what the charm of Toho conceptually, answering the question of what effects was Toho instead. So what if Kirby was like grazing bullets all the time?
Yeah, exactly.
Love it.
That said, hey, thank you both for joining me here today. We are
Thank you for having us.
Going to take a second break and be back in approximately 2 minutes. Nope, I was right. 2 minutes and 55 seconds. Farewell until the end of that.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Yeah.
Bye. Compliments in the world. And maybe this is also an intentional bit of design of... I don't know how to describe it. It reminds me of an old PC game that I would just find, you know?
Yeah. A lot of its influences are... I got really into Caves of Cud last year.
Okay.
And NetHack, just kind of like those games, and then older like CRPGs, and I don't know, I guess Automaton Heart's the result of combining a lot of that stuff into the formula of Automaton Long, the previous game.
Yeah, because you've it is like you've fallen like. It's interesting to see as people like continue to develop like sort of like very distinct personal styles and languages in games, and kind of like sequels that are not sequels, which is like which is the traditional way that artists work,
Yeah. I mean, Half-Life 2 was another influence in the sense that, not really gameplay-wise, but just because it's sort of like a sequel that doesn't give a shit about Half-Life 1.
Right. Which is like also like a lot of, how many albums are direct sequels, but also, right?
Right.
But they're also
totally.
very clearly like from the same creators.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of stuff does carry over, but I don't know, I guess I didn't want to have a ton of like remastering areas, or I did do that a couple times, but I don't know, I just feel like I wanted to just make new stuff almost completely for it.
Right. And that, that gives you the sort of like the kind of like, it's sort of like doing whatever you want to do.
Yeah. It's a lot more freeing.
Yeah. And now did you think about looking for a soon to die console to port this to before?
Yeah, I don't know. It's not, the Steam Deck doesn't have the same ring to it as the 3DS.
Right.
There's not really. I was sort of just relieved to be out of the handheld world, I guess, like having so much RAM I can work with and all these like resources where things just like work. Like there's not some texture or shader that just crashes the game over and over again. it felt like a lot better. I did run into some stuff like that, ironically, but I think that's just like part of making a big game.
Right, right. But you're not inherently limited to like whatever piece of hardware, like
Yeah.
computers are like modular hardware, so you're kind of limited to the hardware you have, which is maybe, whatever hardware you've got. Like you gotta hope that people have similar or better.
Right. That does come with its own problems, but I don't know. In general, it was just like super easy. Like your memory is measured in gigabytes. Like you can kind of do whatever you want.
Yeah, right. And you're kind of like, especially when you're working in like solo dev or very small team stuff, you can't really account for like you don't have a giant staff of
Yeah.
however hundreds of people who are all operating like, oh yeah, we can test across x 10 20 different machines.
Yeah. I mean, I guess those are just my. Well, I did have a lot of playtesting sessions, but also like Steam is pretty good about it's easy for people to bring up stuff that's breaking for them, and you can like see like stats about like how long people play, and you can track their achievements and stuff. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I definitely don't want to say that my players are playtesting the game, but in the sense that I'll probably be like patching stuff.
Right.
They are, yeah.
It's like they're unofficially playtesting the game, and that like
Yeah.
you're like pretty sure everything works, but there's always the room for it to not.
Yeah, I mean, like the small group of people who were like I was doing playtests with, we pretty much found all the major things, I think, but
Right.
I was surprised by a couple of like weird, like mysterious bugs, but they've all been pretty easy to fix post launch so far, so
Right, and
it's a big relief.
and then there's like eventually like modern kind of like video game playing culture sometimes in some sectors is looking for bugs, and then at some point it's like, is this an important bug, or is it a bug that an average person would even run into?
Or even like design stuff, like I don't know, I feel like if you don't get the game, like if it doesn't register with you, it's hard to like for instance, someone was asking for like fast travel between the different save points in the overworld, and I just feel like that would take away so much from what it is. But I can also see like if you're coming at it from a lens of like, oh, I'm gonna go to this zone and get this thing and grind and like speed through it, then yeah, I could totally see somebody wanting that. But again, like it's not like you have to take somebody's design advice.
Right, it's the thing that is like a thing I try to tell, that I talk about a lot. Where game dev, is a very like, for better or for worse, often very feedback centric art form.
Yeah,
where like
that's true.
You think like is somebody like giving you gameplay feedback, or are they giving you like design feedback?
Mm-hmm.
Or like, do they just want you to make a different game?
Yeah, no, literally. Most of the game developers that I had, like, I was talking to and, like, we were playtesting together and stuff, they had, like, some really great insight and, like, perspective. But I think ultimately on Steam, it's, like, I don't know, it's probably, like, some teenager, like, they don't really, there's not really as much to be gleaned out of those forums.
Right, and like, how do they how do they find your way to your game?
Yeah.
Like especially when you were like talking to other game developers, the ones that you have the important part of like what they like and what their tastes are. Like you have a perspective of where they're coming from.
Mm-hmm. For sure, yeah, totally.
So you can balance that with like their feedback with like, okay, well, I know what this person likes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whereas, like, who knows? Like, you can't, like, if someone posts something in a Steam forum, you can't, like, dig into their game library and be like, okay, what else is this person playing? What perspective do they have?
Yeah, like what's actually happening in the game? Like it'd be nice to have a little video or something at
Right.
times, but
Right, did they just think it was something else? Because I feel like there's a lot of reviews on Steam where they just thought it was something else.
oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel like hopefully I've done a pretty good job like showing what it is, but
Yeah.
ultimately I think you have to kind of play it to like to understand what the game is like.
Yeah, because I think sometimes people often get kind of, especially with the modern proliferation of like people being like, oh, what if we worked in lower poly styles because it's a lot easier to do, and you can actually make graphics.
Well, there's also the whole genre issue on Steam where
Right.
genres are kind of like hyper prioritized.
Yes.
I think Max Krieger of Aqua Lounge talks about it a lot, where like a game has to fit into some genre. Like that's how players, especially on the Steam storefront, that's how they like internalize like what a game is and what
Yes.
it's about.
Yes, I've been beating this drum a lot recently of like we are too like gameplay forward in how we describe games.
Mm-hmm.
Because like one could describe like I'm just looking at like the more like this page on Steam, is Automaton Heart and Star Wars Outlaws, are they both technically open world third person shooter games? I guess so.
Yeah.
With like with light RPG elements, but like thematically and like structurally and aesthetically drastically different games.
Oh yeah. Yep.
But we don't talk about games like thematically, so it can be harder to like convey an idea sometimes.
Right. I guess movies kind of have that as well, but it just feels like it's to such a lesser extent.
Right.
It's really different. I don't know.
Right. Like, and it seems like it mostly afflicts like genre fare, like if you're talking like, sci-fi, fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe video games are just kind of trapped in genre where like they're all treated like genres works.
I don't have a solution, by the way, but I'm just saying it's like an interesting. I don't know if it's even. I guess it's a problem, but it's like it's interesting how we categorize these games in the same. Yeah. Yep.
Like it just generally feels like our language around games is too small,
No, totally. I agree. I feel like another problem I kind of wanted to push up against was like the overabundance of just completely frictionless games or experiences that just sort of tell you exactly what you should be doing, how you should be doing it, and where you should be going.
Right.
So like when we were playtesting, there's a lot of stuff where I'm like biting my fingernails like, oh my god, this looks like a horrible experience. They're like suffering, like they're in like some desert getting killed and like losing their items, and I'm just like, oh man. But it was mostly about like fighting that instinct to make things. I wouldn't even say it's about difficulty, but like technical difficulty. It's more just about like letting them do things at their own pace,
right,
and how they want to.
Because right, there is that impulse to just remove friction and just like it's a thing I think a lot about whenever people bring up whatever you want to call like when video games just tell you to check out something, when the character is like,
yeah,
I wonder if there's a key in this room. like when those like. I think a lot about those and the idea of like, if you need to walk your player through it like that, why do you have the friction there in the first place if you don't want the player to engage with it,
Right. And I don't know, I feel like it's like this discourse is online a lot. Like people talk about AAA games with like the yellow paint thing,
Right.
or there's like these parody videos where it's like Ocarina of Time and Raru's like talking to you through an intercom, like telling you exactly what to do and where to go. But I don't know. I guess maybe the reason why it's proliferated so much and why so many people are noticing it is because uh, game studios have so many more resources. Like, it's almost like you just have like a focus group
Right.
designing a very specific tailored experience for the player versus like I don't know, like in like Super Mario Bros. You're just kind of they technically they like couldn't do any of that stuff, so they had to work around it and make things clear without stopping them in their tracks or pointing them in a direction with a big arrow.
Right. Or like it's almost like games are running against this friction of like modern game design has this friction of both like we want to make a tailored experience, but also games need to be 80 hours long.
Yeah, for sure.
And those you get a lot of it is to reconcile those two ideas. Because like we wanted this game to be huge, but we also want them to like find their way to the end of it, I guess.
There's this game that a lot of people like and is very well made. It's called Red Dead Redemption 2. And I just really did not have a good time playing it because they would keep making my cowboy like walk really slow, or like I don't know, it was just like it's a gorgeous game and you're on like a horse, but there's like nothing to do. I mean, there is a lot to do, but it's
Right.
I don't know, you're just like on trails for a lot of that game, and I feel like it's kind of a missed opportunity when that world is so beautiful. That was kind of frustrating me a few years ago.
Because that's where I think a lot of those games just have fast travel because you're kind of going in between the busy work, like you're given lush worlds and then a lot of busy work to do in them.
Absolutely. Like I don't really care about like getting all the outfits. I do think it's cool that you can dress up your cowboy, but
Right.
like I don't know, it just felt like a lot to be like raising money, and it I don't know. That was one game that I feel like has some really great stuff and some really bad stuff.
Because even like now we're just finally Indiepocalypse game about game design talk, because I feel like also a big problem with that kind of like that modern sensibility is that like it's all very like incremental, like non-recognizable differences, of like now my cowboy has a hat that gives him like 3.5% better hit accuracy or whatever, and
no, totally
I don't see what that means at all. And I go, I guess he aims better or something. I don't know.
Well, he's pretty good by default, so it's kind of hard to like want to make him better. I don't know. Like you can freeze time and just shoot everybody in a room, and
because the games don't want you to like also like because they want to remove the friction. You can't have bad builds,
Mm-hmm. No, totally.
So you can't like you can't. I realize that because sometimes I will dabble with like modern games, and like part of it is like I playing one recently, I realized I just can't have bad builds, so I'm just gonna pick the outfits that I like, because like you can just skill check your way through everything.
For sure, that's really I don't know. I feel like even though I love Dark Souls, I feel like that's one design trend, I guess, that it started that I personally don't really enjoy is the idea that you can skill through a difficult boss early, or that's like I don't know. I mean,
like an intentional piece of design or whatever,
yeah. I don't think it's bad. I'm not like condemning it. I'm just saying, like again, like in NetHack or Caves of Cud or these like slower, like older styled RPGs, it's more like you make a plan and then it works if you put the right chess pieces together, and if you don't, then you like lose instantly.
Right. And like there's I enjoy the kind of like the messiness of like those imperfections, you know. I'm like making like making conscious decisions, you know, a game that doesn't want you to win.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's the weird, you know, along Caves of Cud. Caves of Cud is not an example of this, but the modern rogue design, which is kind of like feels like arcade light, you know, or like what if Pac-Man had progression in it?
No, totally. It's kind of a misnomer. I think that's a whole problem with quote unquote roguelikes.
Right. Because it doesn't feel like in most of these you can just like first run you win, you know.
Yeah, totally.
Like they are built to be played out, like, and you know, to get these micro upgrades and everything. When, you know, the charm of something like a rogue is that it's like, oh, this is just a game, you know. It's, you know, it doesn't change. Like. You are the changing piece. Like, it's what connects those to like more classic like board games. You know, chess isn't going to change.
Yeah, it's just your understanding of the game that improves as you keep trying to get deeper.
Which like but it's like a more challenging thing to design around. You know, rather than to like design an arcade game that you're bad at, you know. Like, you know, Pac-Man, but you run really slow and there's no power pellets until you do 7 runs, and then you get faster, and there are power pellets now. Which is kind of like roguelike design. But I was looking, because I was like, the UI is making me think of something, automaton, heart that is, and it was to go truly sicko gaming. It was like, you ever played EYE Divine Cybermancy? It's weird. It's dense. There's a lot of shit going on in that. But there was there was something about that was like just like being presented like organs and like a lot of information, and like I guess I think I know what's going on sort of, but having to try to like parse it out, you know. That is
like, I don't know, it's like looking at like some computer terminal where you don't really understand what's going on, but you're just kind of tasked with like understanding why your gut pulses at a certain time, or your lungs,
right,
and they're like these anxiety provoking messages that you get that just kind of make you more concerned and worried.
Right, and you like it. You figure it out. I think that's the thing that people forget about games is like people just figure them out. You know.
Yeah.
Like,
I thought it was too obtuse, but people like, I don't know, they glom onto it and they figure it out. Like, it's not really a problem.
Yeah. I think like if you get too like trapped in thinking of modern game design, you forget that people actually like to figure games out. You know.
Yeah, like they have fun doing it.
Yeah. Like there's a charm to like, oh well, I don't know how this works, but then I figure out how it works. That is granted, that's a much smaller audience, you know. But whatever, video games, they're a thing. Speaking of,
they really are.
And we just keep making them, you know.
Yeah, there's like too many.
Almost an apocalypse of them.
Yeah, it's almost like we're in some kind of a Indiepocalypse.
What a mess that is. What are we gonna do about it? Also, I'm fascinated by these couple like bundle collections, because I think I actually met these Brazilian drug dealer people at PAX. It seems
they're nice.
They seems cool. A lot of people making just cool shit lately, you know.
For real. And then the other one here, let me see, Abyss Veil.
Abyss Veil, yeah.
That's a cool game.
Yeah, just like a lot of like people just taking out like strong sensibilities, you know, like there's something that I think I described it a couple of weeks ago or a few episodes ago at some point as like confidence, you know, like for whatever attention and like notoriety indie space can lack sometimes, there's tons of people who are not lacking in confidence in their work, you know.
Yeah, and I don't know. I like this game at Bisfeel a lot 'cause
Yeah.
it just feels very honest. Like they just wanted to make something really bad, and then they just made it. I don't know if that makes sense. It's
No, that is like I know what you're saying. That's the game. That's what I'm looking at while I'm talking about this. Like I like it is a perfect example of what I see when I think about people like having confidence. You know,
uh-huh.
because it's so easy to see. Like I'm sure if I had paid any attention to the video game trailer commercial spree that just happened, I would see a lot of it like just people designing to trend or whatever, and games that lack confidence.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't watch any of that, but um, yeah. I don't know. It's like this game is really weird.
Yeah,
And they
yeah.
like kind of like made it for themselves. Like they have like a story that they had in mind and just like got to it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I am into it. This is like right in my right in my wheelhouse, you know, of just like
Yeah,
just people doing shit, you know.
absolutely.
I feel like it's the vibe. There is no place to house these games, but it feels like the vibe of like you just show up at like a basement show and like there's this band just going wild, you know.
Yeah.
And you're like, who are
Yeah.
these people? They're just like they're just going for it. I have no idea who they are. Nobody else has any idea who they are. Maybe no one outside this basement knows who these people are, but they're just like going for it.
Yep.
And damn, it's like life affirming. But speaking of things that are going for it, things that aren't going for it rocks, you know. Hey,
Yeah.
Luke, I've asked you before, but as I've said on the show, I'm never going to remember this. Hey, what's your favorite type of rock?
I like Sabbath. Like early metal.
Yeah.
It's fun to listen to. Like Ozzy, Sabbath, Pentagram is a good band. I don't know if I know I've been on here once before, so I probably said the exact same thing.
I mean, it could. I
But-
mean, if that holds true, I
Yeah, I
don't.
haven't really changed much.
Yeah, it's been what at most like a couple of years at most, like bare minimum.
Yeah, at most. I feel like after you turn 25, your brain is like stuck that way forever.
You kind of got your. I like to keep myself like always looking around. Like I try to go through Bandcamp daily stuff, but I've definitely got my stuff I fall back onto. You know.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean I like new stuff as well, but just at my core of my heart, I don't
Yes.
think I'm like this. I'm this person now, kind of.
Yeah, like especially like whereas I've deleted all my stream. I mean, besides the Bandcamp one, which I don't really count as a streaming app because they yell at you if you stream too much without buying anything.
Yeah. They're like, stop streaming on here.
Yeah, like buy already. So like I've fully switched to just like MP3s on my phone with Fubar, you know.
Nice. That's cool.
Which is like a cool thing because it helps me like I feel like I'm more consciously like picking albums, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Especially now there's like AI shit on Spotify or whatever. It's just like you got to be more deliberate, I think.
Right. And I'm like, that's the whole. Anyway, it's. It's one of those things where it's like, it's definitely not going to replace art. You know, it's not going to replace art wholesale, but it's going to replace a lot of jobs within art. You know.
Yeah, it's scary.
Like
It stresses me the fuck out. Like, I don't know. I get it.
yeah, like even if some people spend a lot of money, like we made our full AI movies or whatever, like it'll assuredly be a novelty that will not last, but they will start sneaking it into like a bunch of like what would be the day jobs for those artists in between those projects, where corporations would traditionally pay an
like
artist.
ads and stuff. You know, like I see AI ads sometimes. I'm like, wow, this is really weird.
I went through a real hell of AI ads on YouTube for a while, of like just like people who are clearly not actual people saying things that a person clearly did not say about like gut health or something.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, Toho. Hey, how you feel about that? Do you have a favorite Toho?
So last time I said the blue person, because I had to like find. I don't really know that much about Toho. I guess that hasn't really changed. I played the PC98 Toho game when I was emulating a bunch of PC98 games recently.
The very very first one. It would be the one that was the brick breaking one.
No, I did play that one for a second, but that's not what I was looking for. I played whatever the first like bullet hell one was.
Okay, that would probably be the second one then.
Yeah,
but I think.
I like the ice girl. I think she's cool.
Yeah, Cherno.
Yes.
A common.
I don't know. Those games hurt my eyes. It's so much happening on screen.
Yes, that is. Those games are definitely like a thing you just kind of get used to, you know. Or you don't, or you never get used to them. But it is cool that they're like, I think of video games, you know, talking about splitting off and like genrefying, and like I feel like visual novels and like interactive fiction already do feel like very divorced from like video game culture writ large, you know, like they're kind of like just doing their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
And bullet hells feel like they're probably also within that space of like they exist, people enjoy them, they very rarely will intersect with like mainstream games culture.
Yeah.
But they are their own thing. But Luke, thanks for joining me here today.
Thanks for having me.
Going on a final break, and then we'll be back in about 2 minutes and 19 seconds with the whole crew. Goodbye until then. There's my transition thing. Found it. Hello, and welcome back to Indiepocalypse Radio. That was Priscilla Armel with Sete Quedas. We are back with the entire crew. Hello, welcome back, whole crew.
Hello.
I've got a question for the crew. This was a question for everybody, every single body here, which is, hey, what's a piece of art, I will say, because they put some slashes in there. What's a piece of art you experienced recently that blew your mind?
Whoa.
Let me think.
Oh, I watched Silence of the Lambs this weekend. I never saw it. It's good.
Silence of the Lambs, the movie?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, that was like when I had seen it. That was like a thing of like oh, I guess that's a good movie. You know, it's like it exists in my mind as like a culturally good movie, so to speak.
Yeah.
And like you don't realize like it's like basically like a really strong two-hander, you know.
Yeah. I felt like it really was like such a book movie, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Like it felt like a book. Yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of movies where you can like when you're watching them, you go, "This was a book, right?" And you go, "Yeah, that was a book."
I was like, "This has to be a book." Like just the way that things line up and go. I don't know. It's such a book movie.
Yeah, there's a feeling of it of like, I don't know how it is. Like something. It's like it feels like there's a lot of stuff that you don't know about. You know, it feels kind of like fleshed out.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
I think for me, I have like two answers. The jokey answer, because it's still going and playing.
Ruins, you cut out
Umineko?
a bit.
Oh, hello. Am I back?
Yes, You're
Yep,
just
you're
like
back.
in and out.
I don't know what's happening. Oh god. Yeah. So the jokey answer for me would be playing Umineko, the really fucking long visual novel. Talking about visual novel, it's just like it blew my mind in terms of like narrative and just like doing so much with so little. Because like I love how well written it is, but then when I try to convince my friends to play it, they're like, "So you just like read thousands of words, just like click on, or like, where's the gameplay?" And it's like, dude, that's not why you play this.
Right.
And it's like it's so good. It's like I've convinced friends who like have never played visual novels before, and it's like our entire personality almost right now, I would say. So like Umineko for me, and like obviously Higurashi as well. Rikishi's 07 is just like my father. And like the serious answer would be a Japanese movie called Beyond the Infinite, 1,000 seconds or something. It's like a single shot movie about a time loop that's like a minute or something, and it's like people talking through like delayed video screens, and it's just like so mind-blowing how much they achieved again with so little. So like that's a great movie. I'm gonna try and
I
find
know,
the
I
title
know
for
what
it.
you're talking about, but yeah, I haven't seen that, but I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that.
And the Infinite 2 minutes. Okay, there it is. It's a 2020 movie. It was made by like a theater troupe, and just like it was like their first theatrical release, I think. And it's just like some guy talking to like, you know how when you film a screen, you just have like an infinite number of screen. It's just like that entire concept.
Yeah.
For like almost 2 hours, and it's so good. It's so fucking good. So definitely see it. Oh, that was not. I placed it on the wrong chat. There it is.
Oh, I was like, where did you play?
Yeah, I've seen. Yeah. I've seen this. I've seen this
Yeah.
poster.
So super recommended.
Yeah,
Excellent.
I am lucky in that part of the joy of flight is that I can watch movies on the flights.
Yeah, wow, concept. Yeah,
It gives me a good excuse to like, well, I'm stuck in this little box for like 6 hours. What if I just watch movies?
several of them even.
Yes.
Amazing. What's the weirdest film you've seen on a plane?
The weirdest. I mean, I haven't watched that many films. my plane viewing habits are really weird. I'm like, what if I'm on a plane? What if I watch Anatomy of a Fall? You know,
Oh, damn. Okay.
just casual plane viewing. You know.
Yeah.
Well, they had
Like
it.
watching the guy in front of me play poker on one of those stupid chairs.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm just gonna watch this slow French courtroom drama. What thing?
Yeah.
That is what made me realize or question, like, they just show the whole movie on these things, I guess, because they had like, I didn't watch it because I'd already, it's 2026. I've already seen Portrait of a Lady on Fire, but I'm like, they just have that on the in-flight screen. Like, shout out to whoever's booting that up on their flight.
Yeah. Who curates movies for planes? Like,
Right.
how is that a job? Like, who does it?
Right, because it's like, it's like a bunch of Superman, like Superman, whatever, like some rom-com standards, and then Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Like, shout out.
Yeah.
I've been on an airplane like once, but I feel like you're supposed to. You watch the kind of stuff that like someone's dad will watch at like at 3 p.m.
Right.
Cat movies, yeah.
Yeah, like it's some like random like bargain bin kind of.
Right.
You're not supposed to watch actual films.
An Adam Sandler vacation movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You get it.
Yeah, that is. But then, or you just have a Criterion subscription and download whatever art movies you want onto your phone or onto your tablet, and then you like watch We're All Going to the World's Fair on the plane.
Oh, good one. Yes.
I had not seen it, and I was like in the mood for like, because I saw that, was it like Sex and Death at Camp Miasma?
What is that?
That's their next movie.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Schuburn? That was
Yes.
the name, I think.
I it's a name I've seen. I've never said out loud.
That's my first time pronouncing it. I'm glad we're all doing new things together.
Schönbrunn.
Schönbrunn.
Yeah. That's me saying it phonetically. Could not tell you if that is how. Oh, sorry. Teenage sex and death at Camp Miasma.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the secret of film, and I think that's also the secret of games. That's the secret of art, actually, in general. Is like you can do interesting stuff, but you have to kind of be horror adjacent, so people will give you money.
Yeah, that's the big secret.
Like,
I think, in terms of, I guess, answer the question.
Yeah.
I think the latest thing I haven't been doing trying to get back in the swing of things. So I watched The Ghost in the Shell recently, the 95 film.
Nice.
Crazy. Like, I'm kind of sci-fi adjacent. I've been doing a lot of that kind of stuff. A lot of my favorite stuff is in like that kind of space. So I had never seen it until like I was on. Did you know just have movies on YouTube?
right, yeah.
Uploads. I mean, like, so just like you want to get Beavis and Butthead Do America. Here you go. It's the full thing. 90 minutes. Knock yourself out.
Right, maybe there's an ad here or there, but
Yeah. Well, I heard from a little birdie told me, if you know a guy who knows a guy, you don't got to worry about that.
yes,
But,
yes.
They showed up in my recommended, and I was like, yeah, I have an hour and 40 minutes. Why not?
Right.
Fantastic. It's beautiful. Philosophically, what if there is a soul in a robot? But like visually, it's beautiful. Like, geez.
Yes. It's an incredible style piece, which is like,
Yeah.
which is what makes like, the Science Saru doing it interesting, because Science Saru is just like, hey, what if we just made cool animation?
Yeah. It's like more from my pedestrian understanding is that it's more of a manga accurate style, which I believe, because I read Masume sci-fi novel, sci-fi manga, Appleseed.
Okay.
And that was like a lot more
Good one.
Yeah, which was also pretty good. But, I was also much more like jokey alongside the like political intrigue and the cool robots.
Right. That's the thing that a lot of comics have, just kind of like, because you can have like weird small asides inside of a panel. They're just jokes.
Yeah. So it was like interesting realizing that's kind of more true to the material than the Ghost in the anime film, which is, like I said, much more of a moodier kind of piece, which I'm quite fond of. I kind of like that era of sci-fi.
Yeah.
Something about like weird asides. Kind of, I really like the multiculturalism of it. Like I feel like I don't know if that's maybe still true happening in the scene, but like like you watch Cowboy Bebop and everybody's got like different skin tones and there's different like kind of facial features, and it's like it really helps make the world feel alive.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Right. That's like, going all the way back to like the vision of Star Trek, of like, hey, we're in a utopia. Wouldn't people look different?
Yeah.
Like, if we hit this one nation, wouldn't it be weird if it was all just a bunch of people who all look the same?
Yeah. Like I found, but like really, really beautiful. Still thinking about it. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like is there anything that hit me recently? And now I am unsure. That is not just also like I try not to cheat and not mention things from Indiepocalypse when they hit me real hard, because like what do clouds? I don't know if anyone's had the luxury of playing What Do Clouds Taste Like yet.
No, what is that?
That's here I am saying a last name out loud real quick for the first time. Juno Menager.
Oh right, yeah. Huna, yeah.
Huna. That is like it is now I think it is now available. No, that's a different thing. That is an unrelated project. I should tell them, hey, you can put that game out now so that more people can play it.
Yeah.
But because it is like, that is the massive charm of like this project has been like, especially when you commission people and I say like, hey, make a thing, and they just like, oh yeah, I just made a masterpiece casually in like 3 months,
Yeah, she's amazing. I love her stuff. So shout out to Huna for sure.
Yes, and like, wow, wouldn't it be cool if you like gave game developers money?
Wow, what a concept! Yes.
Like no one's ever done this before, I think.
Like they could make so much cool stuff if you like just like gave them money. Some developer who has too much money needs to give that money to me. Needs to like let me run a vanity label for them, you know.
Yeah.
It'll be deeply unprofitable. It'll be like a super exciting like a year and a half or 2 years of me funding deeply unprofitable but exciting games.
I mean, that's how most of the world is run nowadays.
Right.
Contribute to the culture, you know?
Right. So just like instead of doing it on like a whatever roguelike, some also ran 3 years too late deck building roguelike that you're making. That or like, you know, what if the hundreds of millions of dollars you spent on your live service game that lasted 2 weeks was instead just spent on a bunch of just like fringe artists and let them just also make you just as much money, which is to say no money.
Social experiment.
Right. Just like you're gonna cancel that project anyway, so just and it's not like you're not employing people; you're employing like way more people actually.
Yeah, literally.
Just employ all those people, and then like I'm just spitballing ideas around here, you know. Of like paying artists.
Yeah. I
But-
guess I have an answer for
Yes.
the question.
Yes.
Ooh, let's see.
So there's this book, Taiwan Travelogue. I don't know if maybe you've heard of this. It's basically a book, but in universe of this book, it's like a found travelogue of a Japanese writer who traveled to Taiwan during like the Pacific War. So basically like right before World War II, when Taiwan was a colony of Japan. And so when the Japanese woman goes to Taiwan, she meets with like a Taiwanese guide who, you know, the Taiwanese guide also is, you know, of course, Taiwanese. And so there's like this weird, tense relationship between like, you know, the Japanese colonizer who doesn't understand like the dynamics of this role and the colonized of the Taiwanese woman. And like this weird, tense relationship. And it's all being told from the perspective of the Japanese woman who is, you know, basically just there to write like a travel log. But she's not really getting like why the Taiwanese travel guide is like, you know, sometimes cagey or like says in her view like really weird. And so in the universe of this book, the writer of the book is actually like they found this book and they translated it into Taiwanese. And so the translator of this book is like adding these translator notes of the Japanese travel log, explaining basically like what's going on, like, you know, behind the scenes. It's really cool. So originally it came out in Taiwanese, and then it got translated into English, which has like this other whole layer to it because now there are English translator notes for the Taiwanese translator notes for this, you know, quote unquote found travel log. It's really cool.
Wow, that is so meta. I love that.
Yeah, and so like the writer, like let me look up how to pronounce her name so I don't mess it up. But and so basically her whole thing was like, what if you could tell like stories using translator notes?
Yeah.
Like, you know, the meta of that. Yeah, and so like I was thinking like how would a game like that look like? Okay, so the book Taiwan Travelogue is a novel by Taiwanese writer Yang Xuanji. I'm not sure if that's the right pronunciation. I think that's Yang Xuanji.
Sounds rightish to me. That's how I was going to say it. So
yeah,
And
and
not to
the
say
English
that
translator is sorry.
yeah. Not to say I'm an expert in Taiwanese name pronunciations, but I've gotten better at it.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, and it was translated into English by Lin King. I really recommend getting the English translation of it. Like, even, I mean, if you can read Taiwanese, maybe you should read the original. But,
Right.
like, the English translation adds like this whole like extra, like almost like an extra chapter
Right.
of like
Oh.
extra stuff, which is really neat. And so like the English translator and the original author, like they worked like really closely to make the English book so that it has that feel of like a found book being found and then found again, and like all these layers of translation. And I was thinking that like what if there was like an interactive fiction game that had like translation notes like this, because interactive fiction you can like bounce around between the text.
Yeah.
Like this kind of this like weird meta layer of like looking at a culture through the lens of a different culture, and then once again through a different culture, which is I don't know, it was really cool book, and yeah.
Right, like this. I mean, there's like there exists, the massive culture of video game, not video game, video game, visual novel, like fan translations.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of, like fan translations. So what if someone made like, I don't know, an RPG Maker game that was like quote unquote found, like, oh, I found this in like some Japanese BBS or something, and I translated it, and you have these like different layers of that, which would be just really interesting, and like I don't know.
Right, or you're hitting me with like ambitious large projects, or like a
like, that's the kind of book it is. It's the kind of book that's like, what if I just did this too?
Right, like if the idea of somebody like maybe stumbling upon like somebody's like rolling up their sleeves and they're gonna finally translate some like old legendary untranslated RPG that's been picked up and put down multiple times over the years.
Yeah, and like I have friends who are like translating games like that, and like what if they had like their interactive fiction about translating that game or something, and
right.
It makes me so like excited.
There's or someone's got to do.
There are little layers, I would say, because like translation is like such an not just translation, but like localization. Just literally translating a piece is not enough, because like you need to like convey the meaning as well, and like as a person who speaks like two 3-ish languages, it's like it's not enough to know the language. It's like, how do you translate like local sayings? We were talking about like regional memes before, it's like it's a lot of the nuance is lost. So like the fact that you're able to translate something and then use those translations to then tell a separate story, it's just like so many layers of like brilliance, I would say. I really want to read this now. So thank you for the rec.
Whoa.
Yeah, I really recommend Taiwan Travelogue.
Yeah.
Yes. that so this train of thought eventually led me to realizing I did not know until that this year we finally got Sega Gaga in English.
What is that?
It's it was like some Sega Saturn game that's been kind of like a bit of a white whale for a very long time now, because I know it's been quite difficult to translate.
Yeah, because it's like an old like parody RPG kind of thing about Sega, like towards like the end of the Dreamcast era. Like Alex Kidd's like busted down and working at like a convenience store or something. And
I heard the news about that. Yeah.
And it's like,
I don't know much about the game itself though.
I've only ever seen like, pray tell of like, what is Sega Gaga? This weird
the name is so funny.
This weird Sega parody game that like was untranslated forever. And that is, granted, doing video game translation work is much harder than doing like film translation work. It's structurally very different than translating it and then putting it into a subtitle. I mean, you have to like time the subtitles and everything, but like the base of it, is still there. Like the base is the same either way. Compared to like. A video game, you have to like, well, how do I insert this text? How do I?
Yeah.
And then if it's like
is this text always going to be contextually correct and that kind of thing? Yeah.
Yes.
Right. You have all the regular translation problems, and then you have to figure out how to actually implement it.
Yeah, there's the technical things like older titles. It's like, is the sentence A accurate, and B is it going to fit in the character limit?
Yes.
Text box. Or like, what do you do about like, textures and stuff like that?
I feel like there was, trying to remember if the truth of whether there was this like issue of I think like what was it like I think it was like some front mission game that was simply too big to translate into English.
Whoa.
Like it's just like when you're translating the text from Japanese to English, it just became like it was like they're really fitting everything they could in that file,
Yeah. I remember there was translated. I think it was a DS game, Sigma Harmonics. I think that's what it was called. I've always been vaguely interested in it, but it hasn't been able to been translated because, from what I understand, it's like not even like a text thing. It's literally the way the UI is set up is that it reads top to bottom, right to left, like Japanese handwriting. So like, how do we fit the text into the box?
Right. You can't like. It's just like how do you have to do a ton of like rearranging of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's why time to learn a second language.
Yeah. Get ready to learn Chinese, buddy.
Or learn another language that it has been like.
Yeah.
That is the kind of like. The difficulty of all that of like, hey, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, like I only kind of know Spanish a little bit contextually,
Right.
but like the PlayStation game before it got the English translation, it got its Spanish translation. So I literally just booted it up and was like trying to remember like half the things my family would say in like the 1 year I took of Spanish in high school, and I'm like trying to stumble through it.
Right. Because if you can like, I'm similar. Well, I did not. No one around me spoke Spanish, but I took a lot of Spanish class. I was the inverse, where I just took a lot of Spanish classes up until like college, even.
Nice.
So it kind of like baked in a lot of it, because like, hey, if you're in the U.S., you gotta learn a second language. You should probably learn Spanish.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's basically
for sure.
It's basically our second language.
Literally, I was working recently, and there was like I think like this Asian guy who didn't really speak English, and I didn't really speak like Burmese. But then we both just started speaking Spanish at each other, and we
Nice.
It's the lingua franca down here.
Right. Yeah, and the U.S. is also super weird because like there's different like depending on where you are in the U.S.
Yeah.
Like up in the Northeast, like where I am regionally, there's like a lot of Portuguese.
Whoa.
Which messes me up because it's both like is like close enough in some like it is sometimes close enough. Like a lot of times it's like this sounds like nothing, but sometimes it's close. Like they've got those shared romance bones.
Yeah.
Some Spanish words that I'm like I kind of know what that word is, unless it's the completely wrong word.
Yeah, where I am, there's a lot of like Mexicans and like kind of just Latin Americans. Like Spanish is kind of like the default lingua franca. That even like, like I've also there's like a weirdly high Asian population. They also will just fall back to Spanish if it's like it's really fun.
Yeah, that's like the weirdness of the U.S. of like, hey, where did this group like, where 200 years ago did these immigrants take root?
Yeah.
And then that and like these communities kind of like build up around that.
Yeah.
But that is there's I've lost all my little windows here. I've gone too deep. I'm running around in things.
In the meantime, a neat little fun fact that I like to say to people whose first language is in Spanish is that Spanish and Japanese have like nearly the same pronunciation. So like it's like completely different systems of like alphabet and like writing and everything, but the pronunciation somehow almost the same, and so we get like a lot of like Japanese people singing salsa, like the genre, and they sing perfectly. They don't know what the hell they're saying, but they do it perfectly. And so like also like Spanish people who try to learn Japanese also have like an advantage over like English speakers, for example, because it's almost the same, and I love that.
thought I was going crazy because I have started learning Japanese, and that like thought was in the back of my brain, and I was like, "Is this?"
I love that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, there's
No,
like,
no, you were completely right. Yeah.
yeah, I feel like there was some weird sharedness between the two that like I touched upon, I hit upon, but I'm forgetting in the moment. But I'm like, oh, that's like a weird connective tissue. But also that's like, the world. We're all like interconnected now constantly,
Yes.
and there's all sorts of like shared cultures in all different ways. I'm trying to.
The one Spanish word I know is chisme.
Chisme. Yes, it's
Yes.
gossip in English. Very good word for all of your Hispanic friends.
Yeah, I'm trying to learn Spanish so I can appreciate the memes better. What is
Yes.
the Hobbit meme? Like, what is like on April 1st? Like,
No. It's not April 1st. It's February 14th. So like St.
14th.
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
Oh my God, how do I explain this? I need to not disappoint my Spanish friends. In Spanish, Valentine's Day is called San Valentín, Saint Valentine. And so there's this scene in Lord of the Rings in which Sam, the blonde hobbit, says like, "Oh, wait for me, Mr. Frodo," or something.
Mhm.
And so it's a wordplay essentially in which you say Sam, the Hobbit character, Valentin, which is like Sam is going slowly, and they're pronounced exactly the same. So it's just like happy slow Sam day. Essentially, that's the meme.
That's so cute.
Yes, it's so funny.
I love learning language through memes. This is also how I
Yes,
learned
so
Japanese.
important. Yes.
All the Japanese I know comes from like really terrible like comedy shows over here.
Oh, I love that. That's the way to go, honestly. Like if you're like fluency should not just be evaluated on like how well you can communicate normally, just like how many jokes can you tell, how funny can you be in a
Yeah.
language. That's like such an important skill, I would say.
Yeah, so that's my recommendation. Like to learn Japanese, like you should get into manzai and just listen to them.
Nice.
Like,
I'm gonna
just,
tell all of my friends. Yes.
yeah, just machine gun fire Japanese, and it's like, what are they saying? Like, I don't know, but everyone's laughing, so I guess it's funny.
Time to copy it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like this must be this must be a joke. Everyone's laughing and just picking up stuff that way.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the like, because I think a lot, talking about memes and comedy, because I feel like that's the thing you need, like the most, like, of anything, you need the most cultural context to understand, of like,
Yeah.
like,
Because the memes themselves are really short, so
Right.
like you can get them really quickly, but then like understanding like what makes this funny or
Yes.
like what does this mean is like a whole rabbit hole, which is really interesting. And so yeah, you learn a lot from just like this quick like image macro or whatever.
because
Yes.
I think a lot of like, imagine like just coming into like, oh, I'm gonna check, just imagine coming into like English and then trying to understand like that kind of like 7 layers deep, like deep irony, American humor that exists sometimes, that is like, is like, oh yeah, this is like buried under like 6 layers of irony that like you have to understand that what you're saying is not literal, and then like through intonation, and like if anyone ever says American English does not have like emphasis, it has tons of like emphasis stuff, of like phrasing and how we hit words differently conveys different meanings, and also I think from what I've always heard, it's also the weirdest and the most difficult because it's awkward, and English is weird. But
It's yeah.
That all said, we're also hitting like 2 hours of this show.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Believe this thing just keeps on cooking by. We're just like
The show that never ends.
I know.
We'll be here forever.
Well, there have been shows that have gone on for a while, but we do not like. I've talked a couple times in the show the emphasis of the concept of the George Lucas Talk Show Plus, of going longer than they go, which is 1 minute longer than the Irishman, going 1 minute longer than them. But the secret of how those shows last so long is that they swap out guests. I do not swap out guests, so it require people to be here for like 4 hours, which I'm not going to hold people here for 4 hours. That is what traveling around the world is for, of seeing people in person and then hanging out with them for then 4 hours,
Yeah. Road to Show podcast.
Yes. So that is where I find all that time to then hang out. That's what the hangout shows are for also. Like, Amaze is a hangout show because it's like, hey man, I know all these people here. Or I know most of these people here.
Nice.
Is the show most often where I'm like, I go, here's this thing, and people are like, I know what this thing is already. I was in this thing, or I saw this thing last year, or this is a maze. What are you talking about? People know what this thing is. I'm hoping Narrowscope will be a similar experience.
Is that where the Minneapolis thing is?
No, Minneapolis is Summer Games Done Quick.
Oh, okay.
Which I'm hoping will turn. I'm curious how that one goes. Like, I've got a trio of games I think where I'm gonna try to have like as demo-y games, and then I also want to scoop up a bunch of games that are like that have been played in previous years and be like, feature it in whatever, AGDQ 2017.
Damn, ironic.
Yeah.
Have you been to GDQ in the past? Like, or is this your first one?
This is my first one.
Nice.
I did not know they really had like vendors, and then when I was at PAX East, someone was like, "We have vendors. You should try vending there." And I was like, "Sure."
Damn.
Yeah, I didn't realize they had vendors. I just thought it was that big hall with the theater.
With the guys, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, apparently they have vendors, so I'm going to try vending there. Although
Nice.
I'm technically in like the indie dev hall. I applied to both of them, and they put me in the indie dev hall, which I think makes more sense conceptually.
Yeah, I mean, you are Indiepocalypse, so
Yes.
where else would you be?
Right. Well, 'cause sometimes I'm in
what
like
is the other hall?
I'm in like vendor halls or like artist areas, because I am there as like a vendor, so to speak.
Right, yeah.
But instead, I'm going to have games up for them to play as well as games for them to buy, so that people can learn to speed run indie art games.
Yeah, I
they
mean,
can,
like, if there's a place where you can sell indie games, it's like, it should be like Games Done Quick. It's like, these are very short games you can beat very quickly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And some of them are. I do have like I like highlighted a trio of like games that are like, I think these are more like speedrunny-ish games,
Nice.
or like have potential for people to be interested in them, speedrun wise. But I do well at PAX, so like gamers like it. Gamers like weird art games in a lower quantity, surely, but like it's not like I do poorly.
Do you sell like the physical like zine, like
no,
the covers and everything?
just the tapes.
Oh, this is tapes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the zines are expensive to make.
Yeah, I would imagine. I was gonna say
They're like full. They're like 8.5 by 11, full color, 28 pages. Those are expensive.
Yeah.
I only print.
But, like even the tapes though, like because you make it with like the cassette and with the USB inside, right?
Yes.
Like, is that the tape you're talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, those are dirt cheap. Those cost me like a few bucks to make.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I would think that those are also kind of pricey. I guess not.
No, those cost me like $2 to $3 to make, depending on the price of USB sticks. Those, but that's that was the kind of thing I was looking for. That is like my solution for. Oh yeah, I should bring in how to walk out the door. See how many people can get there in 20 seconds. See the speed. How many loops people do on it as they slowly are exposed to the beauty of a relationship ending. Spoilers for how to walk out the door. Which
I mean, the title does kind of lean that way.
it does, but it's such a good game. Truly, like, it's up for like a Narrowscope top prize, and I'm like, I hope it wins.
Ooh.
But the reason I mentioned that this show's been going for 2 hours is because that's when I'm trying to wrap up the show.
Yeah, go ahead.
Which is to say, this is the beginning. This is where like you have to put your trade tables back up, But then you're like, okay, get ready to get off the plane. Then it still takes like 10 to 15 minutes, And you're like, why did I put my tray table up then? And put away my large electronic devices. Which is the final question of the show is anyone have any last minute like pressing non-promotional pressing statements, questions, etc. to get out before we start into the promotional segment of the show?
I would say make more scenes, make tinier games, make shitposty stuff more often. Like, take it less seriously. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
Oh,
does it count as promotional if it's not for something that I made?
No, I'll say no.
It does count, or it doesn't count?
I say it doesn't count. You can say it.
Okay. So, friend of GameDev.lgbt is Millie Millennium, Millie Squilly. She made like a template for Decker, which is like this hypercard like program. And she made this template to make like a printable zine in Decker.
Nice.
So it makes like a hybrid zine Decker kind of thing. So in Decker you make like 8 pages of a zine, and it spits out like, the HTML of that like digital zine. But then also you can export it to a PDF and print it out and like fold it up into a little 8-page like paper zine. It's really cool. And I think everybody should just try that, like at least once. Yeah. Make a little 8-page zine, like, just like in 5 minutes using this template or anything, actually. Just print out some like A4 size thing and just make something like it. Yeah, and it's really easy. I thought Decker was like really hard. I have to learn programming. I have to like install something. Like no, just do it. Like it takes like 5 minutes just to like get going, and then you print out and you have like your own scene, and like that feeling of having like this thing that you made and that you can send to somebody is just, it's incredible, and I really appreciate that. So I wanted to shout her out.
Nice.
Yeah, make zines. They're fun.
Yes, I had a. It has left me. I thought that it has left me, which means
and
probably wasn't that important.
And then send me the zine, so I'll print it out.
Yeah,
I need your zines. Please send me your zines. I'll print them out and I'll put them on my shelf. I love them.
Oh, here's this tab I didn't close forever ago. 22 hours, Boston and Melbourne. Now I can close that. Now I can close that tab.
That was the 22 hours.
Yes, that is almost an entire day.
Damn.
On a plane. Oh my god.
Yeah.
The first step to any creative endeavor: eat 3 square meals a day.
Yes.
And exercise.
Sleep.
A healthy body is a healthy mind, and 7 to 8 hours of sleep.
Always remember that Shigeru Mizuki lived to be like 99 or whatever.
Yes.
If you never found yourself reading, how was it? 93. Unfortunately, only 93 compared to like his contemporaries who lived till they were like 50 or 60. if you've never read The Power of Sleep, it's like a 2-page comic and it rocks. It's basically about like it's him recounting like going to.
Yeah, I know this.
What was that?
I said I know this one. Continue.
Yes, it's him recounting going to like some mixer or something with all those old like Gekiga manga guys from like the 50s and 60s, and they're all bragging about how like, oh yeah, I stayed up doing an all-nighter, burning in the midnight oil. And Mizuki's like, you gotta sleep, dude. I get 8 hours of sleep every night. And then like the final panel is like, yeah, and they both met early deaths.
Oh God.
It's so blunt, but it's like, yeah, you can. That's just the reality of it.
Right. He's like, yeah, so yeah. And also, I think his stuff is better than theirs, too. I think his stuff is better, generally.
He is our hero. So, like, we really love yokai stuff. And so, yeah, Gegege no Kitaro and Mizuki Sensei is basically, yeah.
Yeah, and dude did it with one arm.
Star. Yeah.
He's like, don't even need both these guys. All right. So if there were no, this is final call. Final. Zine inventory. I get like so for as a little bit as a small acknowledgement to the chat, of course, which I do not acknowledge. I was watching a stream, an archive of a stream today, and I thought it was really weird how people say "Hey chat" and talk to like the chat as a crew. It's like very weird. It's a very depersonalized way of talking to people. I find it very strange. Or I was like, how does the chat feel about this? I'm like, the chat is like potentially hundreds of very unique individual people. Like, how are you supposed to find a consensus,
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, to tell your friend, I would recommend I get like milk crates or like similar things, and I put file folders in them. That's how I store my zines and mini comics.
That's a good idea. I should do that.
I
don't have any milk crates.
I have since upgraded because I have a lot of IKEA shelves. So I've upgraded to like those little bamboo IKEA things that slide inside of the cube shelves that I have. But similar conceptually,
I live in a really small Japanese apartment, so it's like finding a place to put all these zines is the eternal struggle. But yet I keep printing them out.
I live semi-rural U.S., so I've got rooms. I've got rooms, plural, that I can line walls of bookshelves along, But on the flip side, I am near literally nothing. I have to drive like an hour to get to anything.
Oh my God, same. It's so miserable.
Like, oh yeah, I want to go do something. Yeah, let me just drive an hour.
My God.
30 minutes to the city, an hour to work. What if?
Yes.
So sick of it all.
I drive, I have to drive like 20 minutes to get to work. How long would it take if I like walked? Casual 3-4 hours, Anyhow, thank God for planes. I'm going to be taking a 3-minute drive in like a week from now to go see all those Narrowscope people.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I am technically a silver sponsor, which means I have a table.
Nice.
Because they'd ask me, I'm like, do I get a table? And I go, yes. I go, I will be there. Because I am, to speak in the language of memes, Indiepocalypse as a project is Spike Spiegel in the pink coat, which is to say, do I look like I have money?
Yeah.
And the answer is no. But anyhow, anything else, or are we gonna fully hit our final descent into telling people where to find your stuff? Perfect. You've given me 30 seconds of silence that I needed to end the show. So, hey Luke, if people are looking for your stuff, where do you want them? Where do we want to point them to find your stuff?
Go on Steam and search Automaton Heart.
Yes, I do not think there are any other things by that name. There are none. Your 100% hit results. So if you type that right,
Nice.
you got it. Check it out. There's even a demo to try beforehand.
Yes. So you could see if you get a little taste of it.
Yeah.
I think that's all I really have to promote. So
Perfect. And, all your existing stuff still exists.
yeah.
You look at Automaton Heart. Hey, guess what? This fella here made more games. You ought to get those too. Rencon and Future Ruins, Towns Queer. What's going on? What is this thing? Where do you want to point them?
I would say definitely search for Town Square bundle on Google, DuckDuckGo, or whichever search engine you're using nowadays. And buy the bundle, and then follow us on GameDev.lgbt or Blue Sky, or just check out our card. I don't know if the URL is the same. Can you help me out, Rincon?
Yeah, it's so the card is Town Square, so TOWNSQUEER.CARRD.co. You can also go to zine, ZINE.gamedev.lgbt, and then that'll take you to the itch page directly, and from there you just click on the bundle link. The full bundle link is kind of long and maybe hard to remember, so in that case, yeah, just remember the card or the itch page. And yeah, you should be able to find us pretty easily. We have all the socials and everything linked there. Please check out the bundle. Please buy it if you have $20. Buy a copy for your friends. We put a lot of ourselves into this. It's
And I'll say,
help us celebrate Pride. Yeah.
And I'll say, important part that I say of when we always talk about these bundles. Hey, follow the people afterwards. If you like, play the games in the bundles, and if you like one of those games, be like, who's this person?
Yeah. And so our bundle comes with a zine that has everyone's all of the participants submitted information about information or their games, so you can get behind the scenes sort of info about them, and as well as following them on socials. The zine also has links to their socials, and just be interested in the people behind the games as well. So as you said.
Perfect. And Cone Cultus, hey, if people are looking for your stuff, where do you want to point them to?
You can find me on Blue Sky, where I upload pictures of anime women every week or two. But if you mean the actual things that people care about, I'm on itch.io, same name. You can find my projects there, Avenging Angel, free to read, also available in Indiepocalypse, which you can purchase.
Yes.
Hashtag sponsored, hashtag Klarna ad.
Hashtag ads, hashtag FYP, of course.
Yep. And then also there you can find a collection on my page of everything else I contributed to. So you can also check any of that out if that catches your eye.
Yes, there is one project in particular that is really catching my eye. I'm looking how can I find this person's email? They do not have an email online. I will figure it out. I'm going to track down their email. I am on the hunt. But
that's about all. Nice. Follow me on Blue Sky, on Tumblr.
I should say for the audio, that is Cultus in the smart SEO way of the U is a V.
Oh, yes. The U is a V.
Churches style.
Yup.
Which is if you know, you know. And when you know, it makes it very easy to find.
About everything I've got. I'm working on some stuff. Nothing to announce, but, follow me on my socials.
Yes.
I'll keep everyone posted for my epic, freaking awesome games and stuff.
Perfect. And then, of course, Indiepocalypse.com is where one would find Indiepocalypse related stuff. It's the easiest place. It's just my own goddamn website that I have. You can buy Indiepocalypse even cheaper on there, in fact, than you would get it on itch.io, and I get the money way faster. Which is not related to anything. That was one of the very funny things of people going, Itch is withholding my payment. Just nah, dude, it just takes forever to pay people. That's just what they've always done. Yeah. That's just the nature of the beast. But
it's one guy doing basically everything, right?
Right. Right, which is why I'm always like very hesitant to be like, hey, just give them time, you know. just give them time. Just give them time. they'll get stuff done. Just gotta give them time. As someone who is an individual person doing everything and is overworked, you give them time. So yeah, Indiepocalypse.com. Indiepocalypse.com/submit is how you submit games to be included within Indiepocalypse. If you buy Indiepocalypse, say issues like 75 or other past issues, contributors here. This is a group full of contributors. That's how they all get that $5 PayPal. They get that little every 9 month trickle down of, hey, look at that, I got paid for something. That little bit of money. Which is not a lot, but
hey, something's better than nothing.
Right. Like I said earlier, you look at big flashy bones that make a lot of money. Don't do the math, though. No. Don't do the math. Especially...
Usually. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying, most of these things, even if they look fancy, are also people not getting very much money, you know?
Mm-mm.
Which is also why this is merely a springboard into then supporting other people individually, you know?
Yeah.
It's like I said earlier on the show. It's about a number of small individual efforts rather than trying to put all those eggs in the one big basket that we've put on a month, where we parade our identities around in favor of dollars. You know, we go, look, I've got the right flags next to my name. Please give me money this month. Thank you. Could you give me money the other 11 months? No. Why not? Oh, well. Unfortunate. That's it. Indiepocalypse.com/Patreon/newsletter/ etc. You know, find stuff. Subscribe to Indiepocalypse things. Find the things to get the things, to find the people, to find the stuff. Concultus, Rencon, Future Ruins, Luke. Thank you all for joining me here today on this nice show.
Thank you for having us.
Happy to be here. So true.
Yes, I am. I will not be here next week, as I will be in Albany, New York, at Narrascope.
Yeah. Have fun.
Hanging out with people in person. If you are like, hey, I'm going to Albany, New York for a game narrative event called Narrascope, hey, I will also be there. You will know me because I am the person who has the table with all the cassettes on it. That is
nice.
My secret technique of being identifiable in person.
Nice.
As someone who is otherwise invisible on the internet visually. Which is the way I like it. Except when people like interview me for like video things and I go, fine. But I'm never going to share them. That's it. I think that's the whole show. Where's my thing? There it is. I found it. Goodbye, everyone.
Later.
Goodbye. Thank you. Thank you for having